Welcome to Remastering History, and this is an exploration into colorizing snow in a remastering process. So I have this photo here of a mailman carrying parcels at Christmas in Chicago in 1929, and as you can see, he is surrounded by steps covered in snow, the building's covered in snow, he's covered in snow. And you might ask yourself, you can obviously see a lot of things which you can improve in the remastering process of this image, like removing these edges of the image that are damaged or worn away. You could upscale the image from this low resolution to quite a higher resolution. But when it comes to colorization, which is in my opinion the part of the process which adds the biggest impact, you could obviously colorize the mailman quite successfully. But when it comes to snow, and this applies to other things like sand, that is generally typically thought about as one continuous color. What do you do to add depth and different tonality throughout the image if it is just one blank sheet of, in this case, white snow? So that's what we're going to do. So this is the original image, which I found at boardpanda.com. I was looking for a good image with a lot of snow in it to showcase this process, and I thought his happy demeanor, especially in what it amounts to freezing temperatures, is probably pretty good. So first thing I did is get the original photo, and then used the I created a layer mask and used the brush tool just to remove any areas of the image that were damaged, like they had areas which where it had flaked off the original photo, or the edges had gained damage over the years, or in the photo of spots that have been damaged, etc. I also removed the signature off the image, which if you were doing this for a client, you'd probably relieve the signature if it is from a family member or such. But for the purpose of this, I went round and removed the signature as well from the side and the bottom here and up here, just so we have an image without any distracting elements, so we can focus on the colorization. So that's what I did here. As you can see, I've gone over all of the parts of the image except faded edges. You can remove you can add detail back into the faded edges, but for the purpose of this, we're not going to bother today. So you can see I've done that, and then I went on one of my favorite bits of software, DALL-E 2, which is an AI generation tool for images, and I uploaded the image and got it to generate the areas surrounding that I erased. As you can see, I generated a few different ones just to see what I liked. In the end, I merged a couple together, so we ended up with over here, the building turning into a corner, as this is a street. And on the other side, we've got some steps which have been added, and the railing continues up here, and the building continues. So that leaves us with an image with a lot of blank white space, which will need to be colorized in the remastering process. Remastering differs to restoring in a way that restoring is all about keeping the essence of the original image intact. So if you had a black and white image, you'd probably keep it a black and white image and fix any damage to the photograph and leave it in its original state as much as possible. Remastering is different in that it's the artistic interpretation of the image that matters the most. So in the case of this image, we can remove things like these edges and the signatures and stuff to add to the overall image. So we've extended the wild space, and we've extended the areas that we can fiddle with, and we've obviously added more areas for us to colorize. I think remastering is about adding to the image, so adding color when you can is always a good thing. So we've got this base of the original image, and then I used another bit of software that I quite enjoy called Image Colorizer. This is free, you can download it, and I use it for initial templates for my colouring process. It takes a couple of seconds, and then you can use this as a basis, or just even a swatch sheet for the colorizing. So this is what I ended up with from Image Colorizer. As you can see, they've done quite a good job on the face on these parcels, and he's got a brown tint to his jacket and clothes, which looks good. The steps look good, stone texture. We've even got some stone on the wall behind. It's got a warm tint, as if the sun is quite warm, which I like. Mostly it's done a good job. It's even added a bit of colour to these railings as well. So mostly it's a good job. There's obviously some elements which you'd have to change by hand or tweak, like this bleeder colour on his shoulder here from the face, colouring his jacket. Also the face itself is lacking in like the colour of the eyes, colour of the teeth, colour of the shirt, you know, it's all bleeding in from the skin colour. But mostly it does a good job, and you can use that with overlaid onto the original image to apply a basic colour wash before you do any further colouring. So I took the original image anyway, as I usually do, and I in this case I usually spend some time upscaling it, but in this case I just did a quick upscale on Topaz Gigapixel, and we ended up with this, which is pretty good. Again, there's some problems. As you can see, the lines look a bit, I'd say, organic, so probably need some tweaks on the upscaling process. Also, the face is a bit uncanny, but realistically you'd never zoom in this far. From the distance you look at the original photo, it looks okay. It's certainly higher definition than the original image. If I zoom in on the hat, for example, you can see it's done a good job of increasing the fidelity of the image. So I took that, added the colour that we took before, and increased the size of that to go with the whole image, and then simply change that from normal overlay to colour. It's slightly off, but it's pretty good. And this is generally what I use as a template for most of my colorizations. Again, there's some things wrong with it, but usually you'd fix that by going through everything in hand. So just before we look at snow, I am just going to quickly fix a few of the glaring issues. For example, this shoulder is bugging me quite a bit, so I'm just going to quickly take a brush and change the colour it. Again, you'd spend longer doing this normally, but there you go. It's better. There we go. I'll also quickly fix the teeth. And the eyes. Like so. That's pretty good. Could even add a bit of colour to the parcels. You still want to leave a bit of that change in colour where you can to provide some differentiation, as in it's done a pretty good job of leaving some of the letters white and then some of the parcels brown, so you kind of want to leave that in. I'm pretty happy with that, so we're going to leave that, and we're going to leave these buildings for now. So we could just do a quick wash. There we go. Like so. And notice how I'm picking the a warmer tone for the stone brick in the background. That's going to be important in a bit when I talk about stone. Snow, sorry. So the thing with snow and sand and concrete, even things with what you'd imagine would normally be one colour in a painting. In a photo, you actually get a ton of different colour changes and colour tones. Like if we zoom in on this bag, look at the amount of different changes in colour you have. Just even over here, if I increase the saturation, you'll see even more. Here we go. Look at that. So you got blues, you got purples, you got yellows, you've got some green over here, red for the brown of the bag. And this is just in an area which you'd normally consider to be grey or brown. That's how much difference you have. Then when you look at the snow and the rest of the image, you see two main colours. Now this is the, as I say, this is the image colorizer base template, and what it's done is it's coloured most of the snow, in fact pretty much all the snow, with a blue tint, as you can see. And as it's done a blue tint, when I colorized the buildings, and I picked a colour from the original image to do the buildings with, this is the original, and I picked a colour from around here, a bit warmer, and made it a bit more brown, a bit warmer. And by doing that, I've made the buildings a lot more red in tone as opposed to blue. Now, why would you want to do that? So it's quite simple. Essentially, if I get a thing here, essentially the colour wheel is something like this. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And most people know about this, but colours that are on opposite sides of the wheel, like green and pink, or yellow and purple, are considered complementary in the fact that the two colours together is pleasing to the eye. So in this case, you'd see that orange and blue, or orange and red, are not orange, sorry. Yeah, orange and red and orange and blue are opposite each other. And you see this a lot in Hollywood films, where the colour grading of the image in Hollywood films is very teal and orange. This has the added benefit of making shadows look colder, and lighter areas of the image look warmer and more inviting, which is good in Hollywood because often light is used to draw the viewer's attention to certain areas of the image. And it's the same in this photo or many other photos. Generally, the light areas of the image you want to draw the attention to, so you make it warmer. In the case of this image, the warmer areas of the image are actually the central character. As you can see, he's mostly red, and the buildings where the people live in the snow. You wanna separate the people warm at home from the cold outside. It's a Christmas image. People at home having warm, and this guy's brave in the warmth to deliver parcels. So it sort of tells a story with just a colour. Now, blue's good, as I said, for snow. It's even good for sand if it's the same sort of thing. It's a nomad in the desert. You could make it a bluier tint, or you could do the opposite. You can make the nomad bluier and the sand more red, so it stands out again. Now, even though a whole area of the image is considered red, it's in these buildings, or the man's quite a good thing. So he's considered warmer colours, lower colour temperature shades, and he is still made up of many different colours, which adds a lot of character when you look at the overall image. He doesn't look very flat, he looks quite 3D, and that's kind of what you want to achieve with the rest of the image as well, no matter if it is just white snow or buildings. So in this case, the majority of the buildings are just completely flat red, and the snow is just completely flat blue, except for some areas where the concrete is showing. If we go over to an image of some actual snow and turn the saturation up, you see that again the majority of the image is blue. If you zoom in, you see areas of the image such as here is redder, a bit of red here. This area is darker blue, this is lighter blue. Some more red tones scattered throughout over here. Here on the hillside. Here. It's a bit redder compared to the surrounding areas. And the buildings are separated in the fact they're darker blue and the snow is coloured lighter blue. And even the road where the snow is melted a bit is completely a bit more purpley than the surrounding snow, which is a bit more pale light blue. And if we look at another one, it's Tower Bridge in London, and we look at the snow, you'll see a lot of differentiation in the snow, in that they've added warm tones to the blue snow to add depth and interest to the otherwise flat colour. Now obviously this is a photograph, but the photographer has obviously seen the light coming in from this angle, cast these warm shadows over the snow, and thought that was visually interesting. It's the same thing you want to achieve in photo remastering process. So ideally we'd like to add some of these warm areas to the snow without overdoing it and making the entire image warm, and likewise we'd like to add some darker blue areas to the buildings without overdoing it and making the whole buildings blue. That will bring the whole image a bit more together, but still keep the separation we had before, and keep the Mailman as the central focus, as he is mostly more varied in pinks and reds and blues, a bit of everything in the image. So to do this, what I like to do is, there's a couple of ways you can do it. One good way is to create a smart image and just get a copy of that so we're not destructive. Here you go. And add a threshold mask to the image. Now a threshold separates the light areas of the image and dark areas of the image, which is perfect for the whole two-tone blue orange idea we're going for here. Now you're looking for generally where the graph here goes up quite a bit, because that's generally where the snow will kick in. So you just choose a point where it looks like you've got most of the highlights covered by white, and leaving the majority of the shadows covered by black. A good test is if you can see all the details of the face of your subject or of the terrain whilst still being black and white. You've probably good. So about here, about 152 is probably pretty good. Now you want to copy that, and you want to make a new layer and paste the threshold, and you want to invert it. There we go. So what we have now is the original image, and then we have a threshold where the white areas of the image are on the highlights, and then we have an inverted one where the white areas of the image are on the shadows. Now, using that, you can then add two colour washes to the original image. You can add a red / orange wash and a blue or teal wash. So choose a nice blue. So you can't see this, but just choosing a light blue for now. And we want to choose a brush that is soft, and just going to lower that opacity to like 50 for now. Increase the size, and then make sure you selected the appropriate layer. So what's important in this image is that we've decided that the snow is going to be bluey. Sorry, it's already bluey. So what we want is to add some of that sunlight and the orange tint to the snow, and a bit of the bluey tint to the shadows of the buildings. So in that case, we're going to select the threshold where the white is on the shadows and on the building, and we're going to add a blue wash over the majority of the image. Just tap over where it looks dark to you, and then make sure to change the colour, and tap again. Change it up a bit, maybe add some colours that are close to blue, a bit of pink, maybe a bit of green. But mostly keep it blue. So if you do add a bit of pink or green, you can cover it up again, like so. Then what I like to do is add a Gaussian blur, just to blend all these colours together a bit better, like so. Then with that, you can add a clipping mask over the threshold, and you end up with this type of thing. Actually, a better way of doing this is to use this threshold as a mask. For the layer with the colour. So just make a mask. And remove the threshold from the black hair is the threshold from the mask, like so. There we go. And then do the same with the other one. Like so. there you go. So we have one wash where it is the red orange and one where it is the blue. I am just going to quickly increase the contrast of the mask. There we go. So we have one mask that is using the one inverse and one that's using the the one threshold and one that's using the inverse of that threshold. So this one is going to be bluey, and then we're going to do the same for the other one. So we're going to pick a nice warm orange, and we're going to just tap over the image, pick different colours. We can tweak these colours later, just make sure you've got a nice variety. Again, you can add a bit of reds, you could go the other way, add a bit of greens maybe, even add a bit of blue. The idea is to keep it mostly warm colours. But you want a variety. Like so, maybe a bit of pink as well. There we go. Okay. Then we're going to Gaussian blur it. We'll do it again. I'm just going to do that a bit more. There we go. That's pretty good. Just going to do it to this blue a bit more. Like that. Okay. So we've got one that's blue, one that's orange. So what we've got here is the inverse of the original. So the original, we got orange highlights on the buildings and the person, and very much blue only on the ground. And then what we got here is the opposite. So then if we colour overlay these, you see the shadows are blue and the highlights are warmer. Now it's important not to go overboard. So in this case, just fiddle with the opacity of these layers until it looks like you've added a bit of depth. So here 15 on the red wash. Okay, that looks better. So we've got 20 on the red wash, 20%, and 27% on the blue. And then if I create a duplicate of the original, I can show you what that looked like before and after. And then if I create a saturation mask. You see what that's done. So before, the image is mostly blue, mostly red, and the dude in the middle. And now it is a bit more variation. So we've got some red over here, a bit of blue on the steps. We've got a red building behind, a bit of blue on the buildings. Now the one thing I will say you should probably do after doing this is to remove some of the colour grading from the subject, just to make him stand out a bit more if there's any bleed over. So using the copy, add a black colour mask. And then just go over them with a white brush and restore the original colours. Like so. Again, it should probably take a longer time, making sure you're a bit more accurate, but that's pretty good. Now when you're here, you can do a couple of things. You can firstly add a bit of highlight from the sun. So you want a warm golden colour. And then you want to pick where the sun's coming from, so it's probably over here. And with a low opacity, you just want to click. Like so. And then you want to get a bluey colour, the same sort of tone. And you want to do that on the opposite corner. Like so. Maybe even a bit of a darker blue. Like so. There we go. The final thing I like to do with all my images is do a noise overlay. So for that, just select the entire image, click filter, noise, add noise. Sorry, you need a base color first. So just get a base color, then filter noise, add noise. Gaussian's good, and it doesn't really matter, just make sure it's above 100%. Even max it out. Importantly, you do not want to tick monochromatic because that will make everything black and white. We want to add even more colour to the original image. So if you colour overlay with this, it's, the noise is defaulted averaged to the original colour you chose for the overlay, which in this case is a brownie colour. But if you zoom in, you see the amount of different tones that we got. So now you want to go into filter gallery, and you're looking for something that can just sort of blur these bits of noise together. So that's pretty good. There we go. And then you want to make sure that's on colour. And then you want to bring that opacity down to like, so you can just barely see the colour change. Something like that. 7 or 8. Maybe slightly higher. There we go. You can also just add a bit of flat noise to the entire image. Some people hate it, but actually I quite like a little bit of noise. Makes any adjustments you've made stand out a bit less. Needs to be a very small amount though. Even 1% is sometimes too much, but for this it's not too bad. And there you have it. So if I go into the saturation filter now, max the saturation, you see just the amount of change in colour we have on the areas of the image, which before were flat blankets of colour. Before it was like it's a bit like this. So before it was a bit like this. Now it's like this. you see all this variation in colour and all over the snow, all over the stairs, all over the background. And it really just helps make the overall image pop a bit more depth. So there you have it. So please, in the future, anyone watching this, if you're gonna colorize snow or sand or any other flat surface in your images, please do multiple layers of think about where in your image it's going to be where in the image you want to look cold and where you want to look warm. Even though this postman's outside in the cold, you want him to feel warm to the audience. So we've added some glow, we've added red to the blue snow and blue to the red buildings, and importantly, we've shown that despite areas despite things like this which look completely white, like so, that is completely white. This is completely white. Don't do this when you're colorizing, so please. It removes all the depth from the image. Like if I did a whole image, look at that. Don't do that. Instead, add different shades of colour to your image to help add depth to it. If I pick this blue tone here and then applied it over the entire image, or all the snow at least, you see how much more flat that makes the image. It might be hard to see, but that's the original. That's if it's all the same colour. There's a lot less depth. So I'm happy with this rush job, and I hope you enjoyed and learnt something. Please add noise, add colour depth to your otherwise flat areas of an image, and even if it's snow still has a lot of depth depending on where the light's coming from, depending on where it's shadowy and not shadowy. Please use thresholds to judge that and colour the image accordingly.